Welcome to tonight's Gilbert Tuesday, April 14, 2020 regular City Council meeting. We are live streaming tonight and we are under different COVID-19 conditions. So please bear with us out there and welcome everybody to our meeting. Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Sandra, can you do the roll? I can't see the monitor to see who is all on.
All right, Deputy Clerk. Well, I can do the roll call here if you want. Councilor Rovich.
Here.
Councilor Leone. Here. Councilor Skenzich.
Here.
Councilor Poulos is absent tonight due to a death in his family. We're so sorry for that and at this difficult time. And Mayor Oberstar is here as well. And also we have City Engineer John Jamnik here, City Administrator Jim Paulson, and Deputy Clerk Sandra Goulan in our attendance here. So quorum has been established. Would you all rise and help me open this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which stands one God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's kind of hard to do.
Again, everybody is watching by TV and we only have a limited attendance here and we're all 6 feet apart, social distancing. We have people, our staff is on Zoom at different locations. We have one counselor at home, some staff members at home, and we will get to them as we get through the meeting here. We are live streaming thanks to NCTV. So we'll get on with the meeting here. And again, hope everybody stays safe and does what is required of us to do so we can get through this and get back to normal sometime here close and near the future here. And any additions to tonight's agenda, Jim?
No, Mayor.
No additions. Very good. All right. Approved City Council minutes, previous City Council minutes of March 24th, 2020. The Police Department notice of a public hearing.
Make motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Councilor Rovich, supported by Councilor Leone to approve these minutes. Any more discussion? And all our votes tonight will be roll call votes. That's the rules for having a meeting of this kind. So, Councilor Skenzich.
Aye.
Councilor Rovich.
Aye.
Councilor Leone.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries. Again, with Councilor Poulos not being able to attend tonight. 4-0. All right. March 24th, 2020 City Council working session minutes. I've reviewed all these prior to the meeting and things are looking in order unless somebody else can see some corrections, additions, or deletions.
If no changes, I submit a motion to approve.
I'll second it. Motion by Councilor Rovich, supported by Councilor Leone. Any more discussion? Councilor Leone. Aye. Councilor Rovich.
Aye.
Councilor Skenzich.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 4-0. March 24th, 2020 regular City Council meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Moved by Councilor Rovich, supported by Councilor Leone. Any more discussion? Counselor Leone. Aye. Counselor Robich.
Aye.
Counselor Skansich.
Aye.
Mayor Overstar, aye. Motion carries 4-0. All right. We have public input. I believe we have a telephone line for people to call. My understanding. Right?
That's correct, Mayor. Sandra, do we have anyone on the line?
We have somebody online?
I think that's Ty. He was calling in on a separate one.
I didn't touch anything, so I don't know.
So I'm wondering if we couldn't do the city council thing and make it big.
We have no callers at this time. We can continue. We'll break away if we ever do have a caller. All right, reports by the mayor and city councilors. Councilor Skansich, you have anything?
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Rovich,
No formal report.
Councilor Leone,
No formal report at this time.
Mayor, I have one thing to bring up for the council for consideration. I got a phone call from Brandy Lager, and there is a group of people putting together some class pictures of the 2020 class at Gilbert. And they were wondering and asking me to ask the city council if it would be possible if they were continuing with this process where we had our welcome to Gilbert signs out here, that banner, if they were to get some pictures of these class graduates and replace that welcome to Gilbert with the picture of that graduate on the city's Main Street lighting poles. I don't know how many we're talking about, but they would like to proceed in ordering that kind of stuff. They're asking the city of Evelyn the same on their Main Street. So what would be any objection by the council to putting them up instead of welcome to Gilbert for this summer? Anybody want to speak to it? I'm in favor of it. I think they've talked to Sam about what size they would need to fit that exactly the way it is there. We don't want to have a different height where we'd have to go through a process with the highway department to get a easement. I'm sure that I've already been through that process. So if they got the same banner as the welcome to Gilbert sign, they would fit our existing apparatus up there. I see no problem for this summer or whatever length of time to put that picture up and honoring these students for some kind of a high school graduation recognition. That's my thought, Counselor.
So you're saying right on the light poles?
Well, where they had the brackets out for that, flipping that banner in, they would slip these pictures in there.
So our public works would have to install them, I'm guessing.
Just put them up there, yeah.
Sam, remind me, but I think didn't we have issues last year with putting stuff on the poles because we don't have a cherry picker or equipment to access that?
No, we do, Rebecca. We do it every year with the whether it be the Christmas lights or the banners, the Main Street banners we do. What the mayor is talking about is the banners would be the same size, they would go on the same way, and that. But the only thing is, I told Brandy that due to the construction, the Main Street project, they would have to come down probably the end of, I'm thinking the end of June. is what I told her if they went forward with this. And if the council approved it. So we do borrow by Wabbock's boom truck to get up there to put our own banners up. So we just doing that.
Oh, grid. Okay, that's what I want.
Okay. Anything? Okay, so anybody else got any comments?
Yeah, I have one question. Did we ever do this? Is this new? Put the picture up on.
Yeah, this is new. It's not forever. It's just for the summer. Because there's going to be probably no graduation for them. They want to do something for them because they're not going to have a ceremony in the gym. Okay. Okay. Yes, I believe that's what the case is. So.
Right. And then they missed out on all their spring sports, all their proms, everything, you know, dealing with high school in the springtime when you're graduating. They missed out on that. Other communities are doing it, I know, from what she told me, and this wouldn't be any more time spent for us, you know, putting these banners up versus our other ones.
One other question for Bukash. I'm assuming that the school would retain any type of liability to get releases signed and things of that nature, or does the city take on liability by being involved in posting pictures of minors?
That is a good question. I think the school will likely want to, you know, confirm with the students or do some sort of release if the plan is to hang pictures of the students, just to give the students the opportunity to, you know, object or voice their concerns if a student wouldn't want to be involved.
So we wouldn't need to confirm that they have that information prior to proceeding.
I wouldn't think so, but we can double check that. But I don't think the city. I mean, I think if the school is voluntarily asking the city to do this, I don't think there's a huge liability concern for this. But we can confirm that.
Thank you.
On that, this is not something that the school is asking. Randy is asking as a group of parents, I suppose, of seniors. I don't think this is a school involvement at all. This is a local citizen of our town getting together with a bunch of other folks, raising some money to get these made up and hopefully get them put up with our okay and blessing. I don't think there's any involvement by the school itself here.
Okay, that makes sense. And maybe we may want to do just a little checking to make sure that if any students did have, you know, an objection, that there's some mechanism for them to make it known. I mean, I personally think most of the students will probably be in favor of it, but just to give them the chance if there are privacy concerns or something like that.
I have seen this in Arizona where the person in the military that has passed away in Afghanistan or wherever is on the same street banner. They recognize and honor him that way. So, and I guess this is just not only for the summer or parts of the summer, and it's just done by a group put together, nothing that the school has, I don't think is committed to. So, yeah, maybe we need that each individual sign a waiver. It's okay to put your face up there, I guess, you know, maybe. You know what I mean? Like Facebook thing or whatever. But anyway, can we get some kind of okay by the council in a consensus or an emotion, formal motion? If you're in favor of that under certain conditions and whatever, would be fine or met one way or the other so they can move on this and
I would make a motion to allow the pictures to be added to the Main Street light poles, provided that there is some opt-out mechanism for anyone that does not want to be included in that.
And it would be, our lawyer would handle that in the formal paper to sign or whatever.
I would think that the group putting this together, whether it be the school board, because Brandy is part of that board, so I'm not sure if she's doing it in official capacity or not, or if it's just a group of parents, I would think the onus would fall to them. I don't think the city wants to take on that.
Yeah, I'll also second that motion. Any more discussion on that? Been a motion by Councilor Rovich, supported by the mayor to allow a group of individuals who are seeking to put recognizing the seniors of Evelyn Gilbert class on our street lighting in replacement of our Welcome to Gilbert banners under certain conditions that are met for no objection by the student. More discussion? Councilor Skenzich.
Aye.
Councilor Rovich.
Aye.
Councilor Leone.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much. Other than that, just saying to the community, we're doing our best we can to keep everybody safe, keeping up with the governor's requests and orders. I guess it's May 13th now, and we're in Zoom with counselors and the staff. We're on live TV. We have a phone line if you wish to call in your concerns.
Mayor Oberstar?
Yes, Councilor Skenzich.
I received a message that someone couldn't get through on any of the phone lines. Is there a specific number maybe they're supposed to call?
Yeah. You gotta turn that on.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can hear you.
There was a call that had come in prior to the meeting being started. So maybe that individual felt that they couldn't get in. Could they try calling again?
Again, anybody out there watching, please try calling and we will break to get your call and listen to your concerns, okay? At any point of this meeting tonight, so.
Mayor, if I may, I'll just put the reminder out. The phone number to call in is 312-626-6799. Once again, 312-626-6799.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we won't have to do this much longer, but we'll do it as long as we have to. All right, we have our city attorney, Mr. Popesh. I probably slaughtered that again. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, everyone. I have no formal report. I did meet with Mr. Lindsay today. We reviewed everything. The only thing he had brought as far as an update is he's working with AT&T to that a lease agreement with some of the changes that the council had requested. So he's hoping that will be finalized by the next meeting. But other than that, it's just nice to see you all, and I hope I can be there in person next time.
Okay, so that'll be ready for the next meeting.
That's correct.
Also, I'd like to pass on that spring's coming, summer soon. We need him to, or you to bring forward by the next meeting what steps the council needs to take with those existing sewer lines, individual sewer lines on the Cedar Island Drive. We need to get that process taken care of so everybody in the Sparta area on Cedar Island Drive will be hooked up to the city sewer line that is provided there and off of their individual lines. We need, that is imperative, and we get that started this year, before summer, beginning, we need to start. It's 10 years overdue already. So if he could get us going, whatever process we need to start, we need to start next meeting, okay?
Okay, for sure, thank you.
And as far as that I inspector, I don't know, City Administrator, what do you think we should do with that?
Mayor, I think
So we can't go into households anyway.
that's right. So we've delayed putting the ad in until we get a little more clarity from the governor on where we stand in the process. So we are ready to get the ad in and start collecting some hopefully some independent contractors. But we've just delayed it because we don't know how long this is going to go where we can't go into houses anyway.
Exactly, because of the social distancing and stay at home. That's but to the other point, I think we can start a process of notifying everybody there that we are recommending and we want this action started.
Yeah, I will contact Upesh and Attorney Lindsay, and we'll make sure we have the process. First step ready to roll as far as direction at the next council meeting.
Very good, thank you. Any councilors have anything for Upesh? Yeah.
Mayor, I think we have somebody in the queue waiting that's called in.
Okay. Excuse me, Upesh, I'll get right back to you. Okay. Hello, somebody there? Everybody on the phone?
We're trying to log them in.
Hello, somebody on the phone? Hello?
Yes, excuse me, can the caller 750-0813 please identify your name and address?
Yeah, Mark Heitzman, Louisiana Avenue, Gilbert.
Hello, Mr. Heitzman, how you doing? You're on
well,
here. We can hear you loud.
Just a little bit. Excellent. Just so that everyone else trying to call in knows, they do need a meeting ID number to get into this queue. And that information isn't available on the YouTube channel as it's being streamed, just for the record. But that's not why I called. I'm calling regarding Louisiana Avenue, and I've addressed the council about this in the past, and I just want to reaffirm that everyone hears me when I tell you that Louisiana Avenue is terrible, and it's time to get Louisiana Avenue repaved. About 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we had 2 or 3 inches of snow, and the avenue is so bad that it brought the snowplow to an abrupt stop because the blade got hung up on one of the bumps. Just happens to be right out in front of my house. So if it's so bad that the snowplow has trouble going down the street, you can imagine what it does to the front ends of my vehicles as far as shocks and struts and tie rods. And I just wanted to let you know again that it's in really bad shape and it's time to get redone.
I agree with you. That's why we've had it on the list since last year to do with our big Main Street project in the one bonding bill. Looks like we'll need to probably bond a second bond to do that in another street in town, Nebraska, Upper Nebraska, and your Lower Louisiana. Council has until some more time to think about that, but I am in total agreement with you. That street's been in poor conditions for many, many, many years, and it needs to work. And I'm glad to hear, not sad to hear, but glad to hear from people who live on that street and that whatever street in town, and voicing their concerns and even their wishes for progress to be done on that street, and versus being objecting to improvements. And
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I thank you for calling, and it's on our list, and we're not going to forget about it. It'll be brought up for a vote in the near future here.
Very good. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else got any questions for Mr. Heitzman before he leaves? Nope. Okay, again, thanks again for calling. And if you got any more people on your street that would like to voice their opinion, please have them call one of us, okay?
Will do. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. All right, anybody else on the queue? Nobody else? Deputy Clerk, stand up? No? Okay, I'll get it back to Bopish. You got that all, everything good there?
I do, Your Honor, or Mr. Mayor, yes, so I'll bring it, me and Mr. Lindsay will talk tomorrow and we'll get on and try to bring everything back to the council.
Yeah. And that AT&T contract, that's very important that we get that correct.
Yes.
For the benefit of the city and a win-win for them too, not just a one-way, thing. All right. Anybody have questions for Bopesh? All right, city engineer, John Jamnick.
One update is I spoke with Misabi Bituminous. They're doing the Summit Street extension past the holiday that was awarded last fall up to RC's site up there. But they're now good.
Okay, and how about our lower Michigan alleys and all that stuff? Did they get blacktop yet this year? Or are they all done down there? I see they. You have all those gutter things that in the ditches all over the place. We need the boundaries things that they put in the ditches, like the worms of. Like the pillowcases of things still laying all over the alley. Yeah. They were all over in people's yards, so the people's yards are cleaning up the yards and they want to, that plus the blacktopping but otherwise the main work is done. Yeah. Okay. Anybody? Jim?
I just want to interject as we're all getting used to this technology here. Let everyone who's watching know if they want to call in. Once again, the number is 312-626-6799. And the meeting ID is 248-144-100. Once again, if you're calling in, the meeting ID is 248-144-100. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions by the council for our engineer? We went through, we had a meeting prior to this meeting, a working session with the council. We went through a big bunch of projects that we're considering to do this year yet. So all this is still pending to another meeting. Chief of Police, Ty Teacher is somewhere around?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. First item of business that we had is obviously we've been preparing for the COVID-19. I think both the fire department and the police department are sitting pretty good with PPE equipment, amongst a few other things. This week, the legislature allowed us, or actually the governor, did an executive order in regards to us obtaining information in regards to any residences within our community that have tested positive for COVID-19. It'll be ran through our PSAP, which is our 911 center out of Duluth. We will not be given any information until there's an actual call at the address. So it wasn't everything we wanted, but I think it's a fair trade protecting the individual's health care, privacy, along with keeping our first responders safe. So that's the one issue. Second thing is calls have been way down. Yep.
Just to clear up what you just said, are you saying there is a case in Gilbert or no?
No, there's not a case in Gilbert. And they will not release that until there's an actual call at that residence. So we wouldn't, even if there was a case in Gilbert, we would not know until there was an actual call at that residence.
Okay, so
yep, so they're keeping it private. But when there is a call there, they will we are then notified that there's through the PSAP that address does have an individual that has tested positive. So second thing is calls have been down. The last 2 weeks, we've seen, in fact, the last 2 weekends, we usually average between 40 and 50 calls per weekend between our two communities. 2 weekends ago, we had 12 calls. Last weekend, we had 16 calls. So quieter. Our domestics are up a little bit, and we're having a few more psychological calls, but for the most part, very quiet. So people seem to be heeding to the executive order. That's all I have.
all right, good report. I have nothing to ask you anymore other than what daily things I have questions for you for. And you've handled them all the concerns I've had in the last week and months with this COVID thing. So everything is going good. I'm glad to hear that. And you've got all the equipment like you said, you need as the fire department goes and police department, and you're all doing your precautionary things, taking them seriously, correct?
Correct. Yes, we're fairly well prepared.
Okay. Any questions by the council for our chief? No. All right, thanks, Ty. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Public Works Director, Sam Lotiger.
Yes, we've been we've been doing some painting here and there in the rec center and the community center bathrooms. We've been out with the sweeper, doing sweeping around town. We'll get out to Sparta and do the alleys here in the future when it warms up a little bit next week. Currently, actually, we got meter reading going on this week, so we're going to try to start reading meters again now that the snow activity's been down. Other than that, we've got a lot of projects we're working on and coming up when it warms up. And been working down at the sewer plant quite a bit here, trying to get that going. We're having a little issues with the train number 3 down there. But we've been working with Ovivo on trying to get that back up and running to 100% here. So we're moving forward anyways. So I guess the one thing I got is I see Jim put on here the substation. I wanted to talk a little bit about, I know we brought it up to the utility board here. I had Joe call in from Minnesota Power last month when we were still able to have a meeting. He called in, and their recommendation was to go from a dual voltage transformer to a single voltage transformer. The dual voltage transformer would give us an option if we wanted in the future to change our voltage from like a 4160 voltage to a 12.5 kVA voltage. But that transformer was $100,000, and Joe brought it up to me earlier, and I said we could bring it up, through the right channels, and we'll see how everybody feels. But it would be a savings of $100,000. So I think he currently had it at about $750,000 for the new substation, which would drop us down to about $600 to $650. So I know the utility board or water and light board was in favor of just going with the single voltage transformer, the 4160. So it's still our what was it, our if our load right now with the same 4160 transformer, if it would likely to increase 35 to 50%, we could still handle it. is what Joe said. The reasoning for going for the 12.5 kVA, he said it's a lot smoother power, and he also said if we had any big suppliers that come on that have big pumps, big stuff, it would also help them out. But really, we don't see anything like that in the future coming towards us. And if it did, we would just get power right from Minnesota directly, Minnesota Power directly for something that needed some power that big, I believe. So it's just a recommendation to go to the single voltage transformer.
Yeah, it's good news to hear something like that. I was just hoping that maybe we could sit down and talk with Joe or somebody. If we did need to, other than getting it directly from Minnesota Power, and we did need to go and up that transformer at another point in time, would it just be adding this transformer and not redoing everything that we will be doing all over again, or just adding?
We would be buying a new transformer.
Right, but we wouldn't have to revamp everything that
as far
the other 500 grand worth.
As far as I know, no. The thing about switching to a 12.5 kVA the single and the dual transformer, everything out on the poles has to be switched over too. And everything out on the poles right now is not dual voltage transformers. Mm-hmm. So all of that, all the pole mounted transformers would have to be changed out. And if we were looking at, I believe you wrote down here, somewhere about $1 million to change out all the transformers on the poles. So we're not going to do that. That's where the savings would be. We're not looking at increasing it anytime in the future here in the next 20 years. So that's where they suggested maybe just going with the single volt, because we're not going to be switching all these transformers over in one big shot to use that at dual voltage. So
correct. I understand that. I just want to say that the 500,000 that we will have into this will not be for nothing then. If we'll have to do it again.
If we went with the dual voltage one?
No, if we went single, but at some point in time, say 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road, well, maybe by that time it'd have to redo anyway. But.
And that's the thought process on it, Mr. Mayor, is by 20 years, maybe we'll have all our infrastructure transformers starting to be changed out at that time, or most of them, where as the life of that transformer is slowly dwindling 25 years from now, maybe that's the time they would upgrade a new transformer, but then it's bought and paid for, and that life expectancy is out of it. And we're saving $100,000.
Yeah.
So
versus spend 100,000 and 20 years for now it needs to be done again anyway.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, maybe longer than that, but
yeah. It could be longer than that. That's where the savings looks better now than spending that extra money. That's why they brought it up, because it would be a significant savings for us. And they thought it was a good idea. Like I say, so did the utility board too. So
yeah, sounds like a good change to me. I think the council should consider it, and when the time comes, we will act on that, I guess. Do we need some action by us today, or?
I think if we could, that would be great. I mean, it doesn't have to be done today, but if we wanted to, it could be. I don't know, it's not one of the pressing things right now, but it's something that needs to be done either this meeting or next meeting.
I think we'll do it in the next meeting, all right? We'll have everybody a couple of weeks to review any information they want to look at and think about it for 2 weeks. And we'll put it on agenda for next meeting, Jim. Okay. But anybody got any questions about that right now before you have 2 weeks to look into it?
Mr. Mayor, I got one thing, I guess.
Hey, Councilor Skansich.
So Sam, even if we end up having to spend about $1 million changing over every transformer in town before we could use it anyway.
Right. Yes.
All right. I was just clarifying. Thank you.
And really, we started when Minnesota Power does put on new transformers on the poles, they do the dual voltage ones, the smaller ones, which it's not a big cost when they're the ones hanging on the poles. So, but like I say, we still have, I think overall, we have about 379 transformers throughout town. And, we still got ones from the 50s on the poles, so they last a long time. And the new ones going up, when one blows or one comes down, we put a new one up. We do put the dual voltage one, or when we need a new section of town, we do the dual voltage one. So in the future, if there is any changing of power, we will have that option. But
that answer is not, I don't think, my understanding that the answer that Sam gave you is not totally correct here, Councilor Skansich. This transformer that we're going to put in has 2 switches. One, the way we have it now, and if we needed to go to that 12, it was ready and capable by just doing the switch over. But we don't need to do the switch over because we don't have the transformers out there to handle it, and we don't have the business need for it right now, but it would be available. That's all. There's nothing that if we took it right now, they would have to revamp our whole system. But it would be on a buy stand. So that's all.
Great. I understood that part. I was just clarifying that to switch over the city over, we would have to spend that anyway.
But then the transformer would be there and you could turn the switch over to that transformer. But now there will be no switch over. It'll be just, you'll have to re-put the whole unit in 30 years from now. So it's just a switch over. That's all. Have a bigger unit, but use it as a minimum and not as maximum. So, okay.
The other thing I did not see on here is I think, Jim, and maybe you can clarify this, did it get put on the agenda last time? Was the summer help employees?
Yeah, well, we talked about it last time. We did. It's not on this agenda now. I don't know when the council wants to take that up again. What was the situation with that, Jim? Can't remember. Sam is asking about the summer help.
There was there was no action taken on it. It's going to be revisited when it was going to be revisited in the future, but there was no date set.
Yeah, kind of like put it up ahead a little bit there, Sam. I don't know when the council wants to do that. So
I was just saying that because it's now is when I usually, and I didn't look at the agenda before here, else I'd have brought it up. I just assumed you guys tabled it for this meeting. But I was just wondering, now is when we usually advertise, and then I bring forward the employees roughly mid-May. The first meeting in May is when I do it. So I don't know. I know we're a little bit behind the 8 ball here, and it would also be due to this COVID-19 deal when we would hire them. But it would be nice to start to advertise if the council would give me the opportunity to.
how many were you looking for?
I believe they budgeted for 2 is what we've done in the past, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, what's the council wish to do? Councilor Lovich?
I'm still opposed with proceeding at this point in time. Right now, our parks are closed. We don't know if there's going to be areas that are going to require maintenance. We don't know how long it's going to be before the social distancing ends, to bring people in to interview. I just don't think at this point in time we know what the future holds in the near term to move forward with hiring.
Sam, do you have vacations coming up? So you're going to be shorthanded? And then
Usually people start in May is when we start doing vacations and whatnot. But, you know, your grass grows all year round, and them guys are a big help. You know, picking up stuff around town, around the cardboard bins and stuff like that. So it's, like I say, we'll handle it or we'll deal with it, but it's just nice to have those couple extra people.
I would just tell the remaining council here that I'm in favor of going out for advertisement, and then by the way, if you're only looking for two, and this is not a full-time position, and this is not a qualified, need to be too qualified for this position, I would recommend it. If you're going for two, it's got to be boy girl. And if you're going for three, there's got to be boy girl boy, or whatever, something like that. For four, it's got to be gender neutral. So, because it's not a full-time position and it's not dealing with anybody's skills or more qualifications than somebody else. I definitely don't want no issues there. I don't know who you would get to apply for the job, but that's what I would like to see, depending on that. But I'm all favor. I would like to step off the chair and say go out for that and have the vote go up or down, whatever. But
and you know, we're just advertising for them. We don't have to. We can hold on to the employment when we get them. It's just we'll be ready to bring it forward to the council if at the May meeting and whatnot, you know, with these people. That's what I'm more or less going for, because if we wait, well, then you got to advertise for a couple weeks or whatnot, you know.
There may be people looking for work, man. I don't know. Maybe there's layoffs going on up there either, too. So people are looking for work.
Mayor Overstar?
Yes, Councilor Kensich.
I guess I don't see a problem with going out and advertising. So if I guess I could, I'd make a motion to have Sam go out for advertising for summer help.
I'll second that motion. Any more discussion? There's a motion by Councilor Kensich, supported by the mayor, to go out and advertise for summer employment. Councilor Lovich.
I would just like to ask that you rescind your statement about looking for candidates based on gender. That is illegal, and we shouldn't be hiring based on gender preference.
I didn't say based on gender. I want if they're going to be two, they should be equal.
I understand, but that would be still illegal. I mean,
why would that be illegal?
Because we're potentially excluding candidates based on their gender. You can't do that.
And just to step in, gender can't be used as any part of hiring decisions. It should be based on.
Well, okay. Well, then rescind it. Then whatever it needs to be legal. If it's legal the other way or legal this way, whatever way it needs to be legal. All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to just add that we used to pay. Our pay is $10 an hour. That's all I want to make sure it's clear. That's what we're paying them. That's what we've paid them in the past.
All right.
We're not required to do a minimum wage.
I believe that meets the minimum wage.
Or is that? I guess I don't know offhand. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask the attorney again. What should be in the ad? What should be in the ad then?
I think you can just post the positions. I see where the counselor was going with the reference to gender, just even in comments.
No.
the protected class and stuff like that just can't be used in hiring decisions. And then the $10 hour wage would be over minimum wage, so the city would be okay on that.
Okay. All right, so I don't know, that's, I think in many years ago, that was a different story. Well, Jim?
Mayor, as long as you're still in discussion, I would suggest that the council wait on this vote for advertising. I know it's not hiring yet, it's just advertising, but we don't know what the revenue streams are going to be in the next, in the near future. I am concerned with you might have to do some belt tightening with the city in the next quarter and the third quarter of the year. And I'd ask the council to give us a couple of weeks before we talk about this again at the next meeting.
Jeremy, you want to go on with the vote, or you want to withdraw your motion?
I'll withdraw it if we want to wait to a couple weeks. That's fine.
Okay, I'll accept the withdrawal too. So we withdraw our motions. You know, my recommendation for the discussion we're having, wait a while. So how it works, that's fine. Okay, Sam, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
Anybody have anything with Sam? Anybody else? Executive Administrator Jim Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two reminders for the community. Number one is those who've received temporary easement offers from the Department of Transportation for our Highway 37 Broadway project, please return those to the DOT if you have not done so yet. Right now, we've had about a 32% return rate on those, and we need those turned back into the DOT. And item number two, just as a reminder, the open book meeting scheduled for the 2020 assessment for taxes payable in 2021 will be held on April 29th from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the
And here again.
It's locked up. What does that say? He thought it was just him.
Oh, it's still on me.
I think she's trying to reboot it.
Would that be called a punt?
Huh?
Would that be called a punt?
Can everybody hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you, Jim.
I can hear you.
Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Is there somebody in the council chambers talking, or?
Us, please, we apologize. We're gonna get through this meeting, and because we got about 2 more meetings, I'm sure, before we get the okay to do some normal council meetings. But here we are. I'm gonna have our city clerk finish up his portion of the meeting, because he's got important information for you residents. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Mayor. As a reminder, the open book meeting scheduled for the 2020 assessment for taxes payable in 2021 will be held April 29th from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the County Assessor's Office in Virginia. This is the opportunity for the taxpayers to attend and discuss concerns regarding value and classification. If anyone has any questions, they can call us here at the City Hall. And this is the county, really the county's deal, so we can give you the information once again when the meeting is and the time, and it's your opportunity to talk.
All right, thank you for that information. Ms. Sandra, you need that, your microphone on or off? And is that somebody calling on the screen there? No, I see a telephone there. I don't know, there's a telephone. I see a telephone. Is there somebody there? There's one there. Another thing. Okay, nobody there? Oh, okay. Okay, we have people that can call in. We have a phone number, and I don't know if it's live streaming, but our clerk is this still on the screen at the bottom or something like that? Okay. If you wish to call in and give us a concern of yours, please do. You're able to do that. Just do the prompt at the bottom of your screen, and it'll get you right to us. Next, we'll take our city librarian, Sue the Boss. Go ahead, Sue. Sue, are you on mute? You're up. Turn your volume up, or you're on mute or something. Hello? Okay. Hello, Sue. Sue? Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you are. Go ahead.
He's muted again.
You had it there. Try it again, Sue. Huh? Yeah, it's on your end, Sue. You're on mute or something.
It's showing her as mute. Oh, there she goes.
I'm okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we won't touch anything.
Okay.
Jim told us that we could go back, the staff could go back to the library Monday. We will stagger. We will practice distancing. We have things to do, and we are going to be working on the summer reading, how best to bring that to the community, how best to bring the programs that I have scheduled to the community, how best to serve our readers, people who want to see the video. It is we're taking advice from the city, and we are taking advice from the Arrowhead Library System, finding out the best way to get our materials out to people. They have been taking advantage of the e-reading, the audiobooks. That's been great. We have magazines through RB Digital. All of that has been doing wonderfully. But we miss our patrons, and we do want to bring the programs and all of the fun back to the library. So we'll be giving it our best shot next week. We've cleaned up the entire building, and just want to see everybody again.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got any questions for Sue? And again, welcome back, and be safe and everything there. And I'm sure you got some work to do to prepare for sometime in May here. All right, thanks, Sue.
Thank you. We'll let you know. We'll keep you apprised what we're doing.
Very good. Okay, we have some on 6F, 6G, acknowledge boards and commission minutes. We have one board meeting minutes to approve. And that would be the Gilbert Public Library Board minutes of March 2nd. First the minutes, and I see a recommendation here. Anybody want to make a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Been moved by Councilor Leone,
I'll second.
supported by Councilor Rovich. Any more discussion? Councilor Leone, Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Counselor Rovich.
Aye.
Counselor Skinsich.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 4-0. Recommendations, Chris suggested that to put a new and bigger hard drive and bigger RAM into her computer for the much less cost. Is this something that we have Jim and Randy look at?
No, I've had my IT guy look into it.
No?
My Chris Ogilvy is a board member and an IT guy, and we thought that instead of putting forth the money for a new computer, we could put more RAM, a bigger hard drive into my old gateway and see if this would work. We've been having trouble also with our internet, but of course this came right at the time when everything was shutting down. So when we get up and moving again, we'll be looking into it, and I will keep you advised as to what has happened.
Well, Sue, as long as it's within the budget that you submitted last year, it's in the hands of it's up to the decision is up to your board. So not here, okay?
No, but you wanted recommendations, so we thought we'd.
Yeah, oh yeah, recommendations for something that we would need to do.
Okay.
For you, like the one right, put in recommendation form. I'm concerned about the library steps that are crumbling.
Yes.
That would be a recommendation for us to pass on to get fixed by Sam, okay? Sam, you look into that?
Sam has looked into it.
What's that?
Sam has looked at these, and they are starting to crumble.
All right. Sam, you make a recommendation. What's your take on that?
We should look at replacing that, probably that whole stoop. I just noticed this spring when I was over there shoveling on how some of those steps are starting to crumble really bad, and it's only going to deteriorate worse and worse and worse. I know we just replaced the ramp here. I believe it was probably about 5 to 8 years ago, somewhere in there. And that's all they did was the ramp. The stairs were pretty good at that time. But like I say, now the stairs are starting to crumble where the salt is starting to eat away, and they're just going to keep deteriorating. So we can get some prices, but it's going to be pretty pricey. Maybe we get some budgetary prices for next year and look at project for next summer.
Okay, in the meantime, make it safe for the patrons to visit. Well, they're not going to be coming yet, but when they do coming, you'll make it safe for now.
Yeah, we'll get some mortar or some mixture stuff on there, so it does. I got some here at the shop that we could put on there for now.
See, that would be a recommendation for us to work on stuff like that. Okay, so
sure.
Hopefully everybody's okay with Sam to do what needs to be done there. I know when they were put in the 80s, early 90s. Well, it's time maybe to revisit that. The cement in Minnesota doesn't last forever. So, okay, Sam, you take care of that for them so nobody trips down them stairways, all right?
Yes.
Okay. Along with that portion, we're going into old business. We have the wastewater treatment plant update, and we don't have Ron LaFawn or anybody here to update us. Jim, you have something?
Yeah, I will ask Bhupesh. He's still with us here? Yes. Bhupesh?
Yes.
The de minimis waiver, are there any updates on that?
Me and Brian Lindsay spoke again today just to kind of touch base. We both are in agreement with the position that we outlined in the memo sent out at the end of March. They have a claim that can be waived under the de minimis. they're not necessarily wrong. It just seems to go against the intent of what the de minimis waiver is, and the de minimis waiver and the Buy American or the American Iron and Steel requirement was known at the time of bidding. So it's not necessarily something new. So it's one of those situations where we're kind of in a standoff because each side has a legitimate legal, standing to what they're claiming. And so ultimately, I think it may just be up to some negotiating between the council or the administration and Stantec as the legal answer isn't 100% in anyone's favor.
I think they're going to need to put in American-made cables, and the other part gets done later, not before. It's my take on it. I don't think we're going to move on that. I think the council believes here that American-made cables were supposed to be done at the very beginning in the project and not to be negotiated 95% down the road here. I'm sure the intent was all American-made if possible, and this is possible. So, well, I don't know if we want to negotiate. We need to get this done. So I hope it's not holding up anything. Is it holding up the project?
This part is not holding up the project. It's just what will hold it up is, I think, the amount of time to get the American-made cable is what would hold it up.
Again, this project's been going on for 2 years. You could have ordered that thing 2 years ago because it was supposed to be in there at the very beginning. Anyways, are we going to get it? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? No, I mean, they had 2 years to order it because it's supposed to be in the project. It's not a question of now doing it one way or the other. It should have been done a goal right from the get-go. My belief in this thing, Jim, you got anything?
Yes, Mayor. May I suggest that I send Ron LaFond a memo explaining that we expect it to be American-made cables as the bid was, and we'll put the ball in their court and see how they respond.
Everybody okay with that? Again, it should have been there 2 years ago when we started, and it should have been ordered and on site already.
Correct. And I will work with Rupesh and Brian to get that memo out this week.
Councilor Gilbert, you're okay with that?
Yes, I am.
All right, very good. All right. Rupesh, is that anything else on that?
Nothing on that. I can work with Mr. Paulson on making sure we have the best and strongest language in the letter to Stantec.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Minnesota 37 update. Okay, like I said earlier this evening, we had a working session on phase 1 and phase 2 of our highway 37 Main Street, Gilbert's Main Street, Highway 37 from here to Evelyn. Half of it will be hopefully done starting in mid-July here, and half of it will continue next May again to finish up. And they would like to start off on the north side here. We are putting together as a council our final thoughts about it and our final costs. With the number of streets in town that need to be done, and the cemetery roads and 2 water tanks, upper and lower water tanks, Main Street, sewer and water going across the Main Street since it's being exposed. Now's the time to do it. Basically, in a nutshell, just summarize the update here. We've had Ellers. There's a bonding firm that would sell our bond, so we could acquire somewhere between $1.5 million to $2 million in bonds, plus a lot of grants and PFA loans would be come into play. But if we went with phase 1 and phase 2 bond to the folks and the water customers in a debt service rate, we may be looking at, if we did approve this, at a $12 debt service charge in your water bill. And if we did the second portion, another bond doing some different streets in town, that would be a $6 bond on that for the folks where those streets are located at that need the repair. So altogether, Gilbert's looking at 2 bonding bills adding up to $18 a month for 20 years for the water users. Well, the $6 would not be the water users. That would be mostly special assessments for the street people that have property on that street. The $12 is a lot of water and sewer throughout the town, throughout Main Street of Gilbert, on the water towers. So that's what we're looking at. We're trying to come to an agreement upon, and we have our window is closing. We need to have this done by end of April, first week of May, somewhere in that area. So in a nutshell, that's the best estimate I can give you. With everything that we have before us, would be probably a $12 debt service fee on the water and sewer fund. The second bond would be after hearings with property owners on those streets that we earmarked that need to be done. So that would be a second bond. And this year is the time to do the bonding because interests are low. We've been told that they've never seen it this low in 30 years, in the past 30 years. So it's a great opportunity for City of Gilbert to get a lot of things done. And that's my update on the project and scope of funding. John, our city engineer, and our clerk tell us that 60 or 70% of it would be funded, and only about 30% or 25% would need to come from the city of Gilbert, pay back of this bond. Correct, Jim? Something like that. My number's wrong.
Yeah, once we break the final breakdown on the PFA funding, we'll sway that percentage a little bit, but I think those are the rough numbers. John?
Yeah, so a great opportunity for the city of Gilbert only put in 25% of the cost of this 100% project. If we do it all, and 70 to 75% coming from money from other sources. Great opportunity to get a big chunk of work done. And we shouldn't pass it up. But that's my update there. And if anybody needs more information on that, I invite you to call me or get a hold of me somehow, and I'd be glad to speak to it for you, about it to you. But we'll have a few more meetings like this, and we have to at least 3 or 4 more weeks before we have to really make a decision here. The time is closing in on us. Anybody else need to talk about that update at all?
Actually, Mayor, wasn't it
What's that?
Wasn't it $10.20 for that one bond for the Main Street, and then it was $6.25 for the extra bond?
Yeah, but I think nobody's counting interest.
Okay, I gotcha. I was just making sure if I had my...
Yeah, we're getting the principal, but we're not talking
Right.
Inches, yeah.
Okay.
All right, anything else? We have the AT&T contract, which I guess our city attorney tells us will be ready for us next meeting. I gotta go back. I missed our campground directors, Mr. Barb and John Rottenen. Go ahead.
We're here.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what's up.
All we have is just waiting for the agenda item discussing when the campground is going to open.
No, you're not at that part. You're not at the bottom part. Okay. All right. We're almost there. Joint Fire Department consolidation. Nothing's been discussed there because you can't have a meeting, right? So that's on hold. Right?
Mayor, on Thursday, I received an email from Chief Heisman. He wanted me to share. We as a department maintain our belief that continuing to train together, continuing to work towards consolidating our standard operating guidelines, and continuing to work towards improved gear interoperability is in the best interest of the Gilbert Fire Department and indeed the residents and taxpayers of the city of Gilbert. Perhaps as we adapt to this new training regimen and are able to gauge the success or failure of this joint undertaking and possibly even realize unforeseen benefits, we would be willing to again resume dialogue regarding department consolidation. At this time, we recommend suspending participation in the shared service meeting